functional outcomes is constructive when it's improving the quality of decisions, it's stimulating the creativity and innovation, is encouraging interest and curiosity among group members, and it provides the medium through which problems can be aired and tension released, and it's motivating an environment of self-evaluation and change. So, the constructive conflict can improve the quality of decision making by gathering all the possible options, even if it's odd and not usually happen, it gathered it all and then consider to be equally considerate. So it will prevent groupthink. It will not allow the decision that is based on a weak assumption, but however, a lot of people decided to choose that decision, so it will prevent that. And also the conflict will challenge the group and the organization to change and to improve and to be a better version of itself when it's needed. And the performance of the group would be more efficient when the conflict occurs among the members rather than fairly close agreement are made. So it means that when the conflict is outside and everybody notice, everybody get a chance to participate in the conflict, and as long as it's keep rational, the organizations and the group will be changed to a better version of itself rather than they all have the agreement, however, in a closed segment. So all the members doesn't know about the agreement, but however, they have to do it, so it will create the conflict. So we have to choose that it has to be spread out among the members. But however, there's dysfunctional outcomes. Dysfunctional outcomes comes from the conflict where it's arguing that two parties cannot go to a compromising or any options that either will benefit two of the group. So, in general, the uncontrolled conflict leads to discontent and eventually will destroy the group and even get personalized. In this stage, where it comes to dysfunctional outcome, it will come to personalized. As I mentioned to you before, that it doesn't have to be personalized when it comes to conflict, but in this case, when it's dysfunctional outcome, it will be personalized. That means that we're in conflict, we cannot get a solution for all the parties included in the conflict. So it will get more and more intense, so it will be personalized. That means I hate you in person because of the conflict. And it will eventually destroy the relationship of the human. So what do we have to do to encourage the conflict that with functional outcomes and avoid the dysfunctional outcomes? So managers in these days would have to accept the interactionist viewpoint that I mentioned, my friend mentioned earlier before in the definitions of the conflict. So the interactionist view means that you encourage the conflict, but you keep it functional outcomes in order not to destroy the whole group itself. So what can managers do? Because before, in the past, they avoid conflict so much. They don't want to hear about negative things. They don't want saying negative things because that means that they're having problems with their structure, with their organization. So in these days, in this intensely competitive economy, industrial of globalization, we have to accept conflict in order to help the organization better. So a lot of organizations lately, they have been installed in their company this kind of technique where they accept all the ideas, all the feedbacks, and they encourage conflict. So, and when the company or the parties inside the conflict cannot reach the conclusion, they will have the third party involved in and create, they will try to compromise all the ideas of the parties included in the conflict. And also that, well, you can see the common ingredient of organization successfully conflict is they reward dissent and punish conflict avoidance. That means that they really welcome the people that enjoy in the conflict in a professional way, and they will punish the colleges that is avoid conflict. They try to stay away. I don't want to be involved in this and stuff. So the real challenge is come from the managers. The managers have to act in a certain way to make the conflict itself go in the right direction. It comes out the functional outcomes. So the managers, when they receive the bad news that they're having problems with the groups, they must not like roll the eyes, have the accent in the tone, not like what again now, or any things that's similar, and they don't scare targeted towards the employees. They have to like be calm and say like things like, can you tell me more about the situation that we're having? And also lastly, sincerely thank you for your information about this one. Without you, I would not have noticed about the problem that we're having. So in conclusion, the conflict process, it will lead to either way dysfunctional outcomes or functional outcomes, but it's necessarily in this day's organization, in this competitive industrial economy of globalization. And it is important for each of us to take part in the conflict, and the most important part is from the managers. And the next one is the negotiation, and my friend Liu will take cover.
Okay, let me help you a little bit. Thank you very much. You do very good job. Very well prepared. You see, this is nice teacher, right? Make things very clear, understandable, and what you have said, very informative. Yeah, I don't need to cover all of these, but I make it broader and deeper for you in terms of understanding. So, the conflict. Last time we talked about when we studied group, not the nature of group, we understand that we have kind of role conflict. Not we ourselves individually, we conflict inside here in terms of role, and very difficult to overcome if you don't know methods. Okay, if you don't know methods to overcome the role conflict, then you are, let's say, very stressful, in a very uncomfortable manner all the time. So when you have the role conflict inside you, okay, remember the lesson I shared with you? What should you do when you are in role conflict?
I will find the reason why the conflict happens, and I will be with my friend or my partner to solve the problem.
So which way you choose to solve the conflict? What do you base on?
The solution will be better for me and for my partners.
Okay, thank you. This is individual. I want to check your understanding how you solve your role conflict, because this helps you to live your life in a comfortable way. Do you remember?
In my opinion, when I got a conflict with my partner.
No,
with myself.
Yourself.
Right. With myself, I will think rationally. I mean, know how to which one is better for me to choose. I will compare between it and find the best way, the best situation for this. Choose the best one.
Thank you. I think you understand. You get your point. Anyone volunteer to tell me what do you base on to solve your own conflict? Conflict inside you first. Any? Okay, most of your friends also mean about, okay, we make a decision to solve the world conflict in a way that it brings better outcomes to ourselves. Nah? So, okay, you don't remind the keywords that I want to hear. This is the value. Nah? The value, based on the value, which bring you better value, greater values, and then make a decision to go with it. Nah? For example, you can compare your friends and your grandpapa coming to visit your family from the countryside with the ticket from the countryside, remember? Then you should go make a decision, say hello or say sorry with your friends and go back to share time with your grandpapa, right? This is greater value because happiness, happy family. Okay? So this is the conflict inside us we solve by choosing the greater values that we can achieve. Then it's okay. So now when we are in group and teams, of course, we have conflict between us and partners. So then people jump in and find out, okay, how can we solve the conflict better? So when we study the conflict, people look into let's say people have a view toward the conflict before they jump in and study it. So there are 3 point of views toward the conflict. Okay, the first one we call traditional view. Long time ago, when people first time studying the conflict, they say conflict is bad. Conflict is bad. So avoid it. Okay, avoid it. So this is traditional view. Actually, traditional view also right. Nah? And the next view, human relation, they have a better view. They say, hey, conflict not always bad. Because conflict is our nature. Now, when we are in a group of 2, we ourselves, we conflict inside. How can, let's say when we work with a group or work with other partners, how can we avoid the conflict? Nah? So conflict is our human nature. So should accept it and find way to manage it. Okay? Accept it and manage it so that we can grow, we can develop. But later on, interactionists, they come in and say, hey, when we look at the conflict, we have to find out what type of conflict it is. There are 2 types of conflict. Functional conflict, this is good, nah? And dysfunctional conflict. Dysfunctional conflict lead to damage, lead to negative result. So then, the interactionist will say conflict, functional, especially functional conflict is good. So promote functional conflict. And now I prove with you how we can prove these things in what direction or what parts, what portion these 3 views are right. So then we have 3 types of conflict. Look at type of conflict. We have 3 types. The first one we call task conflict. Now group 11, they forget this one. Okay, task conflict we have low level, medium, and high level. The second conflict we have here process. process conflict. We also have low, middle level, and high. And the third type of conflict we call relation conflict. So relation conflict, we also have low level, medium, middle level, and high level. Okay, so here task conflict when people discuss, argue, fight for the best way to do things, not to finish the job. For example, when you are designing this slide, okay, then some task conflict is, hey, this is yellow is boring. So then we should use other colors. Somebody jump in and, hey, look at the text. The text should be like this and that. Okay, and we should add picture in it. We should go on the internet searching for other things and adding it. So everyone in the team, in the room, discuss about the way to do things. Yeah? So then, for task conflict, we accept from low level to moderate high level. So this one, functional conflict. We have functional conflict here. So then, functional conflict, we should promote it. Right? So if you are the leaders, you join a group talking about, let's say, doing things, doing a project or something, then it is bad if nobody says anything about how to do things. No conflict at all, no argument at all. So then you have to jump in and promote, okay? Encourage people to share and talk, to discuss about the way we do things. So at the end, we have the better solution, the best solution for things. But if people go beyond the moderately high level, then it comes to dysfunctional. Dysfunctional is mean bad, nah? So people, let's say, threw things to each other, people shouting at each other, nah? Then we have to jump in and say, hey, stop, go home, tomorrow come and meet me and talk about it again. If you observe and see the level of conflict go beyond the moderately high, then, and if you don't stop it, then everything damaged. People cannot work together anymore. Huh? Pay attention. This is bad. This is bad. Okay. And for process conflict, it means we talk about the process, the procedure, step to do things. Huh? So for the process, we only accept, promote the low level only. That low level of process conflict is good. So this is functional. This is functional. Functional conflict here. So we promote it. We encourage members to talk about the process, but only low level. But when people in your group members go beyond this level, please jump in and stop them as soon as you can, because the conflict becomes dysfunctional conflict. Now, this is bad. Stop. And for relation conflict, this kind of conflict is all the time bad. This is about jealousy. This is about hating each other. Now, so then whenever you see smoke, jump in and stop the smoke as soon as possible before it explodes into fire. Now, so this is all the time bad. So you see, in terms of traditional view, conflict is bad. They are right. They are right in this area. They are right. They are wrong in this. You see, dysfunctional conflict is always bad. So we should avoid it. So this is the traditional view is right for this one, but wrong for this, right? No? But for relation, human relation view, conflict is our nature. We should manage it and accept it and manage it. So then they are also right in this case, not right in this case, and okay. But for interactional view, they divide the conflict into two. And they promote this area and avoid this area. So the later views sound better, right? Understand? Okay, so the three view, the interactionist view cover better the meaning, the issues of conflict. Right? So then we talked about the process of conflict. Actually, the process here, it doesn't mean that it happens at the moment, but we have kind of psychological process inside us. Now, this is psychological process. So we see the conflict through a process of 5 stages. Your friend already made it very clear in detail here. I don't repeat it, but here I want to talk about the intentions. First, we see the incompatibility. We have the possibility. We understand that there is possibility that lead to incompatibility. So what is it? Our communications. Communication is very important. So that's why in our educational program we have the whole course we call business communications that guide you all techniques so that you have good communication here to avoid conflict. Now, many things here that lead to conflict. The structure leads to conflict. Personal variable lead to conflict. Personal variables mean we individuals completely different from each other. Thousands of factors, not only 1 or 2, thousands of factors. We are different. Not in terms of boys and girls, in terms of old and young, in terms of higher education and lower education, in terms of many things, incomes, in terms of culture, etc. All of these things are possibilities that lead to incompatibility. When we have incompatibility, it means misunderstanding. And when we have misunderstanding, that leads to conflict. Think about it. Then here, the second stage talk about cognitions and personalization. Also talk about psychological process here. Perceived conflicts mean we feel, we understand. It is conflict. It leads to conflict. And felt conflicts mean the emotion already come. The emotion come. We get angry. We feel disgusting. We feel uncomfortable now. When we see the conflict come, we call felt conflict. But perceived conflicts mean we see the potential of something may lead to conflict. And here, felt conflicts mean the emotion of conflict already come. We already get angry. We have disgusting emotion, negative emotion now. Okay, and then the intentions. We have 2 aspects in order to show the conflict. Ourselves, we have two aspects inside here. If we have to, let's say, call operativeness, then we may use, let's say, win-win solutions for solving the conflict. And if we have a trend to go for assertiveness, it means very decisive, it means we have to be the winner. Then we have another solutions. So in general, we have 5 solutions. We have 5 solutions for conflict solving. if you have high level of cooperativeness, then we use the best solution is collaborating. Collaborating is representative for cooperativeness. So this is win-win solutions. When we solve the conflict, okay, you win some, I win some, then the conflict is solved. Now, but if we have high level of assertiveness, then we may choose what solution? What solution do you think? Say it louder.
Competing.
Yes. If we have high level of assertiveness, then we will choose. We intend to choose competing solution. It means win, lose solution. I win, you lose. You see? Very competing. And besides that, we have other three, let's say, avoiding solution. It means we see the potential of the conflict, so then we try to avoid it. Now, we have no conflict solution at all. The only thing is that we have traditional view, conflict is bad, so avoid doing things that lead to conflict, avoid it. And accommodating conflict, it means we let the partners, we let our friend to win and we lose. This is lose-win solution. Not good. We have to suffer for other people to win. Not fair. And the other one, compromising. Compromising, it means lose-lose solution. I lose some, you lose some, and then we solve the conflict. It's also fair. Now, for example, you do things together, let's say, do business together, and then you lose 1 million, and then to solve the conflict, it's impossible. I pay all 1 million. So then we are partners. You pay 500 for the loss. I pay 500 for the loss. And then finish. Both are happy. So lose-lose solutions here. So here, repeat. This one, win-lose solutions. This one, win-win solutions. Okay, put it here. I put it here. Win, lose. This one, win, win. This is not available. Not available for any solutions because we avoided it from the beginning. This one, accommodating, it means lose. We choose to lose. And we let other people to win. And this one, we can say lose-lose solutions. Okay? And the behavior, stage 4. We have, here you can see, when we have the intention here, then we may set down, we may choose to solve the problem, the conflict by, okay, we have a statement, let's say, sign a contract, or let's say, sign an agreement about solving the conflict between us. And then that's fine. We keep following the contract or the agreement we sign, both sides. And people may use higher level of behavior. It means they do the actions. They dominate, they go to fight, they quarrel, they shouting at each other. And the highest level of solving the conflict here, negative, it means in terms of action, reaction. Here people talk louder, and this one react to the talking loud by saying something higher voice. Then the conflict going up like that. So they go from statement to action and reaction like this. So it's up to you. You may choose. You may choose the way you do. So here in Vietnam, you can say many people choose to have the behavior to solve the conflict by action and the reactions. So the conflict never solved. But if you sit down and and choose the win-win solutions, and then you have kind of contract or agreement, then things become better. Now we come to functional conflict. So here, the last stage, solve the conflict so that at the end we achieve what we call positive results. It means good for all members. Now, if you cannot solve the conflict that leads to functional outcome, then please stop and don't do it. Don't do it. Just go somewhere or let somebody to do it. So maybe they do it better than you. Now, and if you jump in and solve the conflict, you have to promise yourself, I will solve the conflict for the functional outcome. Now, so for example, you have a family problems and you decide to solve it. And if you decide to solve it and the result is to go to court, your family break, then please don't do anything. Just take your car, go to Đà or Nha Trang or Vũng Tàu for 1 or 2 days. Now enjoy time. Keep everything, let's say, quiet. Think about it. Let somebody here do it. And then 3 days later you come back. Problem is solved. Rather than you lose your temper, jump in, solve the problem, but the result is dysfunctional conflict. Yeah? So promise from today, you already understand this. Promise to yourself, whenever you solve a conflict, the outcome has to be functional. Now, and if you see that you solve the conflict and lead to the dysfunctional outcome, please stop. Don't do it. Please don't do it. Step out. Go somewhere. That's it. Okay. So that's about the conflict. So now Group 11 they go on their section with another part. In order to help you, in order to help us solve the conflict better, then we have to use techniques. So what technique is it? We call negotiation. This is important. Negotiation helps us to achieve what? Achieve functional outcome. Now, okay, so Group 11 we go on with this one.
Okay, so we move on to the negotiations. You see there are many negotiations that purchasing agents negotiate with the suppliers. We are living in the societies when the organization may be poorly structured, so we have to understand the meaning of negotiations. As you can see in the definitions, the negotiation is the process in which 2 or more parties exchange goods or services and attempt to agree on the exchange rate for them. Now, there are 2 kinds of negotiation strategies. It is distributive bargaining and the iterative bargaining. So, for the distributive bargaining, it describes about the scenario where 2 sides are divided a fixed price. They go back and forth until they find the solutions and for the price. The parties try to claim the portions of the existing pie when the pie is fixed. They bargain to make the concession to the parties in order to get things done. Now, the example with this is really familiar. Like you go to the supermarket, you see the products is too expensive for you, so you need to bargain, say adjust the price to lower the price that is suitable for you. So that is a distributive bargaining.
So the distributive bargaining, what solutions do people use?
Distributive bargaining is a win-lose solution.
Win-lose solution, yes. People, when they use this strategy, it means they choose the win-lose solutions. Yeah. People here wins and the partner lose. Okay, go on.
So the next strategy of the negotiation is integrative bargaining. Is a method where instead of focus on position, they try to focus on the interest. It's operated under the assumption that one settlement can create a win-win solution, which means that it is for the benefit for both sides. The example for this is like there are two persons and there's a cake. There's the cake or some food, and instead of the one trying to get the whole pie, the two people, they're going to solve it by they want to eat the inside and the other one want to eat the outside. So both sides will be happy together and no one will lose, and they try, and the two are getting the benefit. So these are the characteristics for the distributive bargaining and the iterative bargaining in terms of goal, motivation, focus, interest, information sharing, and duration of relationship. I can summarize to the one trying to get the whole pie and lose, and the one trying to get the benefit for both. So it's really understandable. For the, let's say, move to the bargaining zone.
Okay, come back. So you see here, distributive strategy that lead to short term, and integrated bargaining strategy that lead to longer term. So this is kind of principle already. If you want to keep any relationship as long as you want, then what strategy do you think you use? Integrating, yes. This leads to win-win solutions. So I can tell you, all kind of relationships, please be balanced between give and take. Now I tell you the example. Let's say we are in a family. You are in a family. Yes, you have your own family very soon in the near future. That's okay. When you marry somebody to live your whole life with, you live with them with love, with care, and you promise to, let's say, sacrifice to bring love to your wife or to your husband. But believe me. How long can you give? You give 3 days, 3 weeks, 3 months, 3 years? It's impossible to give all the time. 30 years, 60 years. You see the point? So then to be equal, give and take is, let's say, equal. You give some and then, okay, you have to receive some. Otherwise, you cannot live happily together as long as you want. So keep this in mind. The distributive, if you use the win-lose solutions, this is very short term. You can win people once, cannot, twice, or come to the third time, the fourth time. People recognize that they already say goodbye to you right at the first time, after the first time. See, but for longer term, you should use the integrated. It means win-win solutions. Yeah? You win some, I win some. We are happy together.
Okay, so this bargaining zones, looking at the pictures is quite difficult, but it is easy to explain as it's the area where the each side overlaps, in which the agreement is possible. How best to maximize and create settlements for the both. Like, for example, the management bargaining range is from 1% to 6%, and the union range is from 4% to 10%. So the best to bargain, so the best solution for bargaining is just from the 4% to 6%. So that is the bargaining zone of the negotiations. Okay, so move on to the process. There are 5 steps in the negotiation process. The first step 1, preparation, planning. Step 2, definition of ground rules. Step 3, clarification and justification. Step 4, bargaining and problem solving. Step 5, closure implementation. So move to the step 1, preparation and planning. So in this step, both parties will try to organize and accumulate the information necessary to have effective negotiations. Both companies, let's take example for the A and the B company. The A company was trying to starting offer for the price, and the B company will try to get the most effective person for the job. So they have to find out each other's histories, and they try to figure out the offers. So that is the preparation and the planning. So the step 2 is the definition of ground rules. In this steps, the rules and the procedures will be established for the planned negotiations. The consideration will be moving to the 4 questions. When will negotiation will take place? Will time constraint exist? What happens if there is not any agreement? And will there be any issues off limits? So again, the A and the B companies, the B companies, they want to negotiate. They will negotiate in some way, in some time, and they will agree to offer the price, like some amount of money, and if they're not finding a suitable price, they can book another day for the negotiations. So that is the step 2 of the negotiation process. So step 3 is the clarification and justification. Again, the both parties in this step, both parties discuss at length. They will both sides will get a chance to explain, justify, and support their original request. This part of the negotiations is the highlight of the step. It should not be argumentative, but instead it should provide the opportunities for educate and inform each other about the position. Again, the A and the B companies, they have to justify, adjust the things that some things that are not satisfied for both, and they will try to clarify and justify in order to have benefit for both sides. Step number 5 is the bargaining. It is final step. It's bargaining and problem solving. These steps involve the sense of negotiation, actual give and take involved in the hashing out of the agreement. It is where the concession will undoubtedly need to be made by both parties. finding and find the problem solutions if there is something wrong. So this step is really simple, easy, straightforward. So my friend will take on the VNUHCM difference.
Thank you.
With the following part is individual difference in negotiations. We focus on which aspect to evaluate who is better negotiator than the others. And we have three main characteristics, which is personality, gender, and cultural differences. Let's start with personality. We can know more or less about a person depend on his or her personality. Then we can know about his negotiation tactics. The research shows that there is a relation between big fight straight and negotiation outcome. This is the table about big five personality trait. You can see, I take an example about introversions. Introvert people tend to have outgoing, energetic personality, and in the negotiation, they tend to make friends. They tend to share information more than they need. So, and one thing, I take an example about agreeableness. They have personality about friendly and compassionate. And in negotiation, they tend to cooperate. They tend to know about opponent. So these two type of person are clearly not successful in negotiation, although our introvert and not disagreeableness tend to be more successful, because introvert they don't want to talk about their emotion and disagreeableness. They don't cooperate much. The second aspect we consider about gender. When we take man and female, man and woman in a debate, given that with the same power, the same technique, but the negotiation outcome may be different, because the research showed that although women act nicer than men, and women act nicer than men, and men tend to be act tougher. In the opponent side, women are more cooperative and pleasant, although evidence so somehow do not support it. But you can understand how. In the conversation, women tend to make friends, tend to chatting with them. And with the negotiator aspect, the man more aggressive, more attack to get information than women. They want more and they act more. And the final evaluation do is cultural differences. The bargaining or dealing style certainly vary through one national culture to another. I can example this is which means with different nation, different country, they have different negotiation style. Like the French who love conflict. They love to talk, they love to make a conflict, to debate. The Japanese on the other side, they want to sit down and hear your opinions, to consider, and finally they will judge carefully. The cultural context of negotiations separate each country and the amount, rate, amount and time of preparation for bargaining. The focus level on task and relationship, the tactics, and the place where negotiation happens. So this is clearly defines the difference between cultural context, the number and the time, the how they focus on level on task, the technique they use, the skill they use, and where to take place. With different countries and different aspects we use.
Okay, so differences in terms of personality. Okay, we scientists already show the relationship between personality traits and negotiation. So you can, your friend already showed here, and you can see that agreeableness, neuroticism, and extroversions, they are not very good for negotiations, but for openness and consensus, they have better negotiation skill because of their traits. So gender, in terms of male and female negotiator, scientists, they don't have clear answer or suggestions in some cases. Men do better compared to women, but in many cases, women do better negotiation than men. So because men here, they have higher level of risk-taking compared to women. So they are more assertive. They do things quick. But for women, many cases, they let's say, they need time, they need consultation from outside, so that they do better job with the negotiation. So there are not clear differences between gender, male and female negotiators. I mean men and women. And the culture, of course. Look at the culture wherever you are, especially when you do the negotiation. You go different region in Vietnam, different provinces in Vietnam. You may also have to pay attention to the culture. The culture is the way people do things around there. So then when we go there, we have to learn the way they do things. So when we learn well the way they do things, then we have better negotiations. So for example, Japanese, their punctuality is very high. They have very, let's say they do very good job with preparation and planning before the negotiation. They do things in details, make everything in detail and go to the agreements. And when the contract is signed, and then they go out, cheer for the results. But for Vietnam, we don't do like that. Okay, if you want to do better negotiation in Vietnam, you should build up the relationship. You go out, have a drink first, and then talk about the contract later. You see the point? Yeah, we cannot do it here like the way Japanese do there in Japan, and then bring it to Vietnam and do it here. See the point? So different culture, it means different way of doing things. We have to learn before we do negotiation. Different countries have different culture, different way of doing things, different region of the country also. Even different family. Different family have different way of doing things. And when you come and talk between families, we also need to learn to understand, okay, how much different in terms of culture. Okay, next thing. Any questions? Any questions? Clear? Clear? Okay. Go on.
to improving negotiation skill and to reach the goal of negotiation effectively, managers or leaders should set desirable goal and take the first step by giving fundamental offer. This means the research, the studies show that when you set a goal higher enough, you can push yourself to achieve that goal. And take the first step by giving fundamental offers. Mean you give opponent one offer that they can resist. One first attractive offer. And about you, second time, do not buy the initial offer too much. This means when opponent give you an offer, do not debate on this offer too much because it's a trap. Maybe a trap. They won't know. And thirdly, study who you're talking to, your opponent, for instance. This means when you know opponent, know who you're talking, you can study, you can evaluate them, you can treat them, with carefully, and maybe you can win before. Last, focus on the problem. Do not make it personally. Although the problem you take, maybe you disagree with that of a person, but not him. Make it clear that. And be flexible and create win-win situation. As my friend mentioned earlier, and the best way to solve the problem is create a win-win situation. When you achieve something and let others achieve something, it's a win-win situation. And be flexible. You can be take less and you can be take more. Be flexible. Don't achieve too much. Don't let yourself too greedy. Something for manager to apply in their way to treat employees. If managers should approach the conflict appropriately for each situation. And these following guidelines may help a lot. First, use competitions, collaborations, avoidance, accommodation, and last, compromise. Competitions when you know you're right, and put on the scale you know you're right, and you make a competition, and definitely you got a chance to win that negotiation. That is a win-lose. Use collaborations means you to handshake with them, others, your opponent, and you get the two of you get the same, you get a win. And use avoidance when the conflict is going too high, and you know it, something is more important to do, and you avoid to following that track again. Because if you keep doing that, you can destroy your relationship and destroy your goal. Your accommodations. When you know you are wrong and someone can solve the problem better than you, you should step away. And you need time to you do it when you need time to learn, to hear, to listen, and finally compromise. I come with a second plan. Backup plans. You talk to others, you agree with something, and although you are damaged about something, your goal will be effective. You will compromise to make the final decision, and all of you may be lose, but you can keep your relationship. And that is all of my presentation.